Sean O'Malley recently dropped a take that grabbed everyone's attention, calling out one major factor that could completely reshape the rematch between Merab Dvalishvili and Petr Yan: the size of the cage itself.
Petr Yan versus Merab 2. Petr supposedly hurt his hand, or had like a really bad injury on his hand going to that first fight. I will say the first fight was in the small cage. That is completely fucking fighting the small cage and the big cage, completely different. It was 50-45. Petr didn't win a single round. That's what that means. Do we see it being any different?
Coming from someone who has spent 25 minutes trapped under Merab's non-stop pressure, and who has also gone through a gritty war with Yan, this perspective carries a level of credibility few fighters possess. And with both men preparing to meet again in December, O'Malley's breakdown created a ripple effect that had analysts, champions, and even Joe Rogan chiming in with their own thoughts. O'Malley pointed out that their second fight won't be taking place in the tight, claustrophobic environment they fought in the first time. Their original matchup happened inside the small cage used at the theater at Virgin Hotels, which felt more like a wrestling room than a UFC arena. In that kind of space, someone with Merab's style becomes a nightmare. O'Malley knows. He lost his belt to the Georgian Grinder and lost a rematch too.
It's a tricky one, because Yan, the thing is with Sandhagen and you is that you're movers. You move about, you're shifting, you're hard to get shots off on. Once the shots are in, you know, Merab's likely going to get those shots off. But with Petr Yan, he's so there. He's kind of a bit more stationary, high and tight guard. So he's there to get on the hips of, which is why you saw Merab shoot fucking 50 takedowns in 25 minutes on him. Get 11 of them, but it doesn't matter because you spend half the fight defending takedowns that don't even work. It's a tricky test. One thing I will say about the Yan Merab fight though, both guys were injured going into it. I challenge people to go back and watch Yan versus Merab 1 and count how many times Yan throws his right hand in that fight. It's minimal. It's very minimal. Yeah, he keeps that close to him. He barely lets go of it. So I'm wondering if there's some kind of injury going on here. So that could be a little spin of a narrative. I reckon it'll be a closer fight, but it's hard to doubt Merab at this point, dude. He's paving his way onwards.
Who do you think's improved most since their last fight?
Oh my god,
right?
dude, that's a good question, because Petr has improved a ton since that last fight. I mean, he went out there. I think he beat Figueiredo. He beat Song Yadong. Did he just have those two fights?
And then he just beat Marcus. Yeah.
Oh, and Marcus McGee.
Yeah.
Petr has looked really good. Definitely looks like he's improved. Merab has improved, I would say, more than anybody. After that first fight with me, I feel like him going to that Umar fight, he leveled up a ton. And then after the Umar fight, like the second time I fought him, I feel like from the first time I fought him to the second time I fought him, it was only 8 months. I regret having surgery and fighting a machine like that after fucking 8 months. It was probably not one of the smartest moves I've done, especially against a fucking machine like Merab.
That first fight was a rough night for the former champion. Merab pushed for a record-breaking storm of 49 takedown attempts on him, something unheard of in a single bout. Even though Yan managed to stay on his feet for many of them, the relentless chain of level changes, clinches, and forward pressure smothered him from bell to bell. Later, when Yan revealed that he entered the fight at only half health because of a serious right-hand issue, the narrative grew even more interesting. Now fully recovered and on a 3-fight win streak, he heads into this rematch with momentum instead of doubt.
Way more confident in his hands, and his hands have improved a lot. He actually cracked me a few times in that second fight. It's just so hard to fight someone when you have to respect their wrestling so much, and then they start fucking throwing hands. He's doing a really good job at mixing it up. Could that be the downfall for him versus Petr? He gets a little bit confident in those hands. Peter's counters, I rewatched me versus Petr a couple days ago, jogging on the old treadmill, and his fucking counters, and a couple times I'd sit in there with a 1-2, and he would counter so fucking hard and fast. And I mean, if Merab does decide, hey, I do want to trade with him a little bit, like that could be his downfall. But also imagine Merab goes out there and knocks out Petr.
If Merab knocks out Petr, there's just...
I gotta get it back. I gotta get it back.
Former champion Dominic Cruz later added fuel to the discussion, giving a very technical breakdown of what he believes Yan must correct. Cruz, whose own unique movement helped define the bantamweight division for years, argued that Yan's biggest struggle in the first fight wasn't just the pressure, it was his predictable footwork. Yan fights on a straight track, always moving forward or backward with minimal side-to-side adjustments. Against someone like Merab, who only needs a moment in front of him to dive into a takedown, that lack of lateral motion becomes a gift. Cruz explained that fixing that single habit, attacking from angles, interrupting rhythm and faking entries, could chop down the number of takedowns Merab lands. And Cruz believes that simply reducing those entries dramatically increases Yan's chances of winning. Even taking 10 takedowns instead of nearly 50 could transform the fight entirely.
Think about that for a second. It's really that simple. Cut 40 takedowns off. Is that possible for Petr Yan? I think it's very possible. I think it's very possible, you know? The other thing is, I think the fight analytics are the ones who make the takedowns. I don't think they know what a takedown is, so I don't know if that's really, honestly, I really mean that. It's sad, it's depressing that they don't know what a takedown is, but it's okay. Doing the best they can. But he got like something like 30-something takedowns on Sandhagen in one fight. So it's like, this is what he does. So if you're Petr Yan, what do you got to do? Well, if I just get it to 10 takedowns instead of 50, I already gave myself 40% better chance, right?
Yeah.
Like,
and how do you do that though with Merab's relentless style? Is it a footwork thing? Is it a distance thing? Like, how do you? This man won't stop. How do you even get space to put your own offense back?
this is the thing that I made my style off of, is feints, fakes to break timing and rhythm, and angles. Now, if you're at an angle, there's no shot. You can't shoot unless they're in front of you. And I think that's why Petr Yan got taken down so much, because he always fights on a very straight line. It's forward, back, forward, back. There's very little side to side with him. So you have to figure out a way, he's got to figure out a way to move side to side. Got to figure out a way to add it in, the lateral movement, and pull Merab into stuff, you know. Sean O'Malley, it has a style like that.
Of course, the man holding the belt has his own ideas. Merab sees this rematch much differently than their first bout. He admits he went into the original meeting with nerves, pressure, and the weight of facing a former champion who many believed would stop his momentum. That night proved otherwise, but he feels far more comfortable now. The only thing he does not want is to become too relaxed, because he's convinced Yan won't underestimate him again. In his eyes, Yan's biggest error in the first time was assuming Merab couldn't do much to him. That lack of respect vanished quickly once the fight began, and now Merab expects a sharper, more prepared version of Yan, and he is planning of leveling up himself to stay ahead.
He's from Russia, I'm from Georgia. Every time we have a competition against Russians, we have to win.
4 fights within the calendar year. I'm a little salty because you're about to break this record.
I want to fight in March. I hope I will get this White House fight.
What is it about Umar Nurmagomedov that you don't like?
What kind of man you are? When somebody tweeting for you, he called me fake champion, and I'm done with him. Next question, please.
When are you gonna go up weight division?
Merab Dvalishvili.
Perfect. Come on.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Even with all of this confidence, Merab knows one thing better than anyone. Petr Yan is notoriously difficult to finish. No fighter has ever stopped Yan inside the distance. Every loss he's taken has been through decisions, whether controversial or clear-cut, and the only unanimous one came at Merab's hands. Merab would love to be the first man to finish him, but he's also realistic. His priority is staying healthy through camp and getting his hand raised at the end of the fight and night, and the finish would simply be the cherry on top.
What's the goal in this fight? Aside from winning, keeping your title, is there any other goals that you have?
Yeah, finish will be good, but we all know that nobody was able to finish Petr Yan. He has some split loss before, and I think only dominate. He has like all unanimous decision loss against me. Otherwise, he only lost split decisions. You know? So he's good, and I'm just focusing for this fight, get healthy and win this fight. That's all I want, but finish will be sweet.
Should he break the divisional defense record against Yan, Merab plans to stick around long enough to widen the gap instead of jumping weight classes immediately. Clearing out his division is the first checkpoint on his list, and only after that will he consider a move. While the bantamweight division prepares for its massive title rematch, another storm is brewing in the flyweight division. Joshua Van, who has been rising quickly through the rankings, is gearing up for the biggest opportunity of his life, a chance to challenge Alexander Pantoja for the flyweight championship on the same card. Van believes he can stop the champion inside 3 rounds, and he's known for his speed, sharp counters, and aggressive style, and he thinks those attributes will catch Pantoja cleanly at some point early in the fight. Still, he remains grounded in reality. He knows Pantoja thrives in chaos, so he's fully prepared to go 5 rounds if it becomes a battle of wills.
So Joshua Van versus Alejandro Pantoja. Who do you got? This is an interesting fight. Joshua Van hasn't been in the UFC very long. He hasn't even been fighting very long, and he's fighting Pantoja, who's kind of ran through the division, is an OG. I kind of think Van gets it done, but I also kind of think he doesn't. So I have 2 thoughts there. Well, I watched the fight, his last fight, when he fought Royval, right?
Yep.
That was a crazy fight. That was fucking such a sweet fight. He fought 2 weeks before that, knocked the dude out. So I haven't really got to watch a lot of him besides those 2 fights, and I don't really think they grappled much. Pantoja is a high-level black belt in jiu-jitsu and a high-level black belt. But yeah, I do think, I can see where he takes the back, gets the job done.
Van enters with a 8-1 UFC record and a 5-fight streak since his lone loss to Charles Johnson. His recent wins over Ray Saruya, Bruno Silva, and Brandon Royval pushed him up the ladder at high speed. Meanwhile, Pantoja rides an 8-fight streak of his own, with 4 title defenses that have built his reputation as one of the most dominant flyweights in years. And if the division needed more intrigue, Yoji Horiguchi's name suddenly entered the picture. After returning to the UFC with a spectacular submission win over Tagir Ulanbekov, Horiguchi wasted no time in calling out Pantoja. The twist? He and Pantoja are not just acquaintances, they're longtime training partners, friends, and teammates at American Top Team. They've sharpened each other for years, and Pantoja openly credits Horiguchi as one of the biggest reasons he improved enough to become champion in the first place.
100%, because I have Kyoji, like my teammate, I conquered this belt in UFC. I know 100% about that. Because that Kyoji have a rising champ before, Bellator champ, and he just missed the UFC, you know. That's something he wants, you know. And I talked to him about that. And I think it's very special if he can do that. It's gonna be very special for me if I can win with the Joshua Van and defend the belt with Kyoji. It's gonna be a present.
If Pantoja beats Yan, there's a real chance a contract to face Horiguchi lands on his table. And if it does, he's willing to accept it without hesitation. To him, that matchup would feel like a gift. He's watched Horiguchi conquer Ryzen and Bellator, and helping him chase a UFC belt would be a full-circle moment. Pantoja would still fight him with full seriousness, but doing so would carry a deep sense of honor. Even though fighting friends can get awkward, he doesn't see it as an issue for them. Their bond is strong enough to survive the competitive clash, and both men would treat it as part of the sport rather than a personal conflict. Still, Pantoja refuses to get ahead of himself. Van is the only thing on his mind right now, and once the cage door shuts, resumes, relationships, and past achievements mean nothing. Anyone in the octagon can win on any night, and he refuses to disrespect an opponent by thinking about anything beyond the challenge directly in front of him.
For me, you know, I think this represents a lot. This chance to fight with someone very important for my life, and but I can't say I don't want to think about that right now because I have Joshua Van, very good fighter, you know, and but I know if I fight with Kyoji, it's gonna be very hard for me. Putting my mind, I need to hurt my friend, you know. But like I think if this happen, all the process about camps and everything, you can like feel better with that, you know. But like I need to focus in my opponent. Very dangerous fight, but I feel so happy to Kyoji back to UFC.
Outside of the title narratives, Joe Rogan added another angle to Merab's growing legacy. Rogan has watched countless fighters rise and fall over the years, but there was a single moment that convinced him Merab was different from the rest. During Merab's fight with Henry Cejudo, the Georgian powerhouse not only neutralized the Olympic gold medalist wrestling, he physically lifted him, carried him across the cage, and tossed him near the front row seats while taunting the big names watching. Cejudo had built his entire career on out-wrestling everyone, but Merab turned the tables in a way few imagined possible. Dominating a triple champion wrestler and doing it with that level of confidence made Rogan realize that Merab wasn't just another contender, he was something far scarier.
He was on Mighty Mouse's podcast.
Yeah.
No sauna, no cold plunge, no stretching.
I don't do sauna or I don't do hot tub.
No warm-up. Shows up, I just show up, start to train.
No, yeah, you're right. I don't warm up. I don't stretch much. I just start straight training.
And this is how he weight cuts. I stop eating.
Since Tuesday night, I don't drink water or I don't eat.
He stops eating on Tuesday.
From the early UFC days, Merab's journey wasn't smooth. His career started with losses. He stumbled in a way that made many dismiss him as someone who would never break out of the mid-tier of the division. Then came a dramatic turnaround. After losing to Ricky Simon, he evolved into a machine that couldn't be slowed down, racking up 10 wins in a row and putting elite fighters through exhausting, relentless battles that left them undone. The Cejudo performance was the one that shifted public perception. The night made fans and analysts realize he wasn't just talented, he was becoming a legendary figure in the making.
Merab is an animal, man. What he did to Henry Cejudo, I was like, I can't even believe this is happening. When he carried him, when he picked him up, and then he's like stuck his tongue out, and he walked over towards where the UFC people were, and then slammed him. Slammed Henry Cejudo, Olympic gold medalist. Who the fuck does that? This dude, Merab is a scary character because that motherfucker never gets tired. Did you ever see his fight with Marlon Moraes?
No.
Marlon Moraes had him dead to rights. He had him out, and Merab just wouldn't stop.
He got a big heart, huh?
Oh, his heart is enormous, man. He's unstoppable.
With all of these narratives swirling, UFC 323 is shaping up to be one of the most layered and compelling cards of the year. Every storyline is connected in a way that makes the event feel like a turning point for both divisions. For Yan, this is a chance to rewrite his worst loss. For Merab, it's an opportunity to tighten his grip on his legacy, and for Yan, it's the moment he's been chasing since he first entered the UFC. For Pantoja, it's a defense that may set up one of the most meaningful fights of his career, and for Horiguchi, it could be the final chapter he's always dreamed of, a shot at tying together championships from the world's top organizations. By the time December arrives, all these threads will collide inside the cage, and every fighter involved will be fighting not only for a win, but for the next chapter of their story.